In an unusual act of solidarity, Mercedes-Benz's CEO has said that, well, Tesla's right. There is way too many people calling in sick, basically saying, as a result, German companies have lost competitiveness. Direct quote, "We are no longer at the forefront when it comes to competitiveness," said Källenius. "It should not be so easy to call in sick." Now, this is just one of the many issues facing Mercedes-Benz and other German companies and manufacturers, as we're seeing the highest levels of bankruptcies in more than a decade happen in Germany. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. When I started this channel about 3.5 years ago, no one knew who I was. A big component of what I wanted to share with people was that, honestly, the Western world, manufacturers, particularly Japan and Germany, who are so incredibly reliant on the automotive industry, that they were in trouble, that a crisis was going to come. And some people wrote stuff online, which you can find it quite easily, saying that I was making this stuff up, it was all ridiculous and it was scaremongering. But when you have a look at the numbers from these companies, you start to get a picture of what's happening. When you have a look at the rise of China's automotive industry, it's very obvious what's happening. Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Volkswagen Group, look at Nissan, Honda and Mitsubishi having to create a joint venture partnership. It's all happening. The job market in Germany needs to be reformed, says Mercedes boss Ola Källenius to the media yesterday. He criticized the very high number of sick days in particular. This is interesting because Tesla have said the same thing is happening to them, that they have so many people that have not turned up to work in months, and Tesla doesn't really know why. Apparently, there's been a change in Germany. You now can simply say that you call your doctor, and on the phone, the doctor will give you a sick note. They don't have to see you. They don't have to know if you're really sick or not. You can just call in, and this is creating some of the problems. In Mercedes' German plants, the number of sick days is more than twice as high as in car plants in the rest of the world. More than twice as high as in car plants in the rest of the world. Now, keep in mind, this is a double-edged sword, because not only are they facing this crisis, but it's also much more expensive to manufacture a vehicle in Germany. Labor costs are around 7,000 euros per car in Germany, whereas they're less than 2,000 in China. And in China, you can't just call your doctor on the phone to get a sick leave note. I can tell you now, sick leave is not twice as bad in Chinese companies versus outside of China. Now, I'm not kind of saying, I love China, isn't it wonderful? Just pointing out the facts. Mercedes-Benz has to contend with this. It shouldn't be so easy to call in sick, said the CEO. This is a problem that can only be solved politically. Considering the stronghold that the unions, the largest unions like IG Metall and others have in Germany over the entire automotive industry, there's really nothing these car manufacturers can do. High personnel costs, social security contributions and taxes are also a problem in this country, said the Mercedes CEO. In many dimensions, we're no longer at the forefront when it comes to competitiveness, said Källenius. Europe has long thrived on being very productive, says Spiegel. But anyone who skips training sessions in football will one day lose the games. Källenius is not alone in his criticism. Tesla has reported this fact. Many employers' associations have been criticizing telephone sick notes now for the last few years. They claim that the regulation is being abused by employees and that the number of sick days has skyrocketed since it was introduced in spring of 2020. In the first 8 months of 2024 alone, there was a new record high in sick leave. On average, 225 sick notes were submitted by 100 employees in these 8 months. So on average, per 100 employees, 225 sick notes were given out within an 8-month period. So 2.25 per employee in 8 months. I mean, it's not that bad, 2.3 days off work. But here's the thing. Those numbers are a little bit misleading because that's sick notes, which mean you might not be at work for weeks. So basically, employees are saying 2.5 times or nearly 2.5 times in 8 months, I can't come to work, whether that be for 1 day or 2 days or a month, I don't know. But we know from data from Tesla that Tesla has hundreds of workers who haven't been at work for months, and they don't know why. The Association of General Practitioners, on the other hand, defended the use of telephone sick notes. To Spiegel, of course. There's no connection whatsoever between telephone sick notes and the increased number of sick notes, it said. None. Funny that it's just a weird contradiction. It's just a weird coincidence, I should say, that as soon as they implemented telephone sick notes, sick days skyrocketed in Germany. They went on to say, if we abolish telephone sick notes, the number of sick days could even rise further because on the way to the doctor's office or in the waiting room, there is always the risk of passing on an infection, said Federal Chairman Marcus Bayer. Now, that is a good point. Mercedes is struggling though, particularly in China. At the end of October, Mercedes reported a drop in profits for the third quarter. Group earnings fell by more than half year on year to 1.7 billion euros. That's a really low number for Mercedes. Sales fell by 7% to 34.5 billion euros. These financial results did not meet Mercedes-Benz expectations, and Mercedes-Benz are saying they have to cut costs. Other sections of the German media say Mercedes are likely to fire 16,600 staff over the next 6 months. That's a huge number. CFO Harald Wilhelm said that finances at Mercedes-Benz are critical. On this occasion, the manager announced that he would now pay even more attention to costs and efficiency, and they had to be improved. The company is currently experiencing massive difficulties in China in particular. The expensive models are not selling as well as expected there. There are no signs of improvement for the current year. However, the expensive cars are the core element of CEO Källenius' strategy. With the economic downturn in China, wealthy Mercedes customers have become more frugal, Mercedes-Benz says. Now, this is actually completely false. This is what Mercedes-Benz is telling investors, but that is totally a lie because actually sales of vehicles in China have increased this year significantly. They're up 10% versus last year, and last year was a really good year. 30 million cars will be sold in China this year. And people are not spending less on cars. Transaction prices in the segment that Mercedes is in have not gone down. The truth is, Mercedes-Benz buyers have just decided to buy something else. They're buying better vehicles from other companies. And if you don't believe me, just watch videos like Out of Spec, where they have these races. They have a race across America using a brand new Mercedes-Benz EQS, top of the range. It comes basically last, or second last, against cheap Teslas and cheap Hyundais and things. So consumers are seeing this. They're seeing the capabilities of these very expensive Mercedes vehicles, and they're like, well, why buy that? It's not as good as something half the price. That's what Mercedes-Benz is having to contend with. In addition, Mercedes-Benz says competition from domestic car manufacturers in China is growing in the country that has been a guarantor of growth for German manufacturers for many, many years. That gravy train is coming to a very, very fast end.